Hello and welcome to Dex Academy. If this is your first time here, you know what to do. Hit the subscribe button and the bell icon so that you don't miss out on our latest exciting videos. So this is our day 2 session of our Databricks series. If you've not watched day 1, I would recommend you go back and watch day 1. So the reason is because my objective of creating this Databricks series is to take you from zero to become expert in Databricks. And in order for you to achieve that, you need to follow through the sequence of the video. So, day 1 is packed with a lot of foundational and basic knowledge to start with your Databricks journey. So, let's get started with the business of today. Yeah, here are the list of the activities that we'll be undertaking today. I will be creating our Azure account. I will be provisioning Databricks. We'll be provisioning Data Lake, and we'll be spinning up cluster. And then we'll be creating a workspace, and we'll be creating also notebook. Yeah, in my last video, I spoke extensively about cluster and Databricks. So here's the summary, a takeaway from that. So basically what a cluster is a group of computer put together to make it a very strong and powerful computer. Say, for example, you have one computer and you're performing activities, maybe resource intensive activity on that computer. At the point it's going to be slow, it's going to take time to run. So, but with Spark, the system have the ability to combine different computers together to actually perform that activities. And those many computers in Spark language, we call them nodes, workers nodes. So those workers node is more or less like you're having different computers and plugging everything together to expand the power of that computer. So that becomes supercomputer and be able to do some uh, powerful things. So Databricks sitting on top of this manages everything for us. So we don't have to manage this ourselves, like get computer A, plug it to computer B, plug it to computer C, and managing everything manually. So basically, because this sits on Databricks, so Databricks manage all of this for us. So that is why Databricks is so powerful because um, it has the power to perform resource intensive activities. Creation. There are two ways you create a Databricks account. One of the way is Databricks Community Edition. So going through to Databricks and creating a Community Edition from Databricks. I will go through this in practical. Another way of creating a Databricks account is through cloud provider. And the list of cloud provider we have here is we have Azure, Microsoft Azure. And the next one is AWS, Amazon Web Service. And also we have Google Cloud Platform, so GCP. So it's also a cloud provider. So that is one of the things that makes Databricks so powerful. Aside enormous power to be able to process big data, Databricks is platform independent. So if you're Microsoft based person, professional, so you'll be able to use Databricks in your Azure environment. If you're Amazon based professional, AWS, Amazon web based web service, you're able to use Databricks. If you're Google person, GCP professional, you are able to use Databricks. So looking at the kind of storage facilities that this cloud provider provide in order for businesses to be able to store their data securely. So Azure provide data lake. So data lake in Azure enables businesses, company to store their data. And in Amazon Web Service is Amazon Simple Storage Service, which is S3. And in GCP is Google Cloud Storage. So this storage enable businesses to be able to save their data in cloud and then use this cloud provider platform to provision Databricks and then be able to extract the data from wherever the data is and then able to transform the data and create your final table, which usually most of the time facts and dimensions that you plug into your Power BI, and then you are or other reporting tool like Click or Tableau to be able to produce reports and insight for the business. So to create a Databricks Community Edition, we head to Databricks. Just go to Google, type Databricks on Google. So that's the first link we have here. This is Databricks, official Databricks website. Create a free Databricks account. So go to Databricks platform. Here on my screen, try Databricks. So once you click on try Databricks, uh, it takes you to a page where you fill out your details, and then once you've completed those details, you're able to provide your email address and your name. So it's a community edition, is free. So you're able to start using Databricks for practice account. But in our case, we're not going to be using this community edition. You know, I spoke earlier about cloud provider. So we have different cloud provider like AWS, Amazon Web Service. We have GCP, Google Cloud Platform. We have Microsoft Azure. We have Snowflakes as well. So, but in our case, for this training, we are going to be using Microsoft Azure for our demonstration and practical exercise. So we head to Google as well. Just type Azure account. So if you don't have Azure account, so you click on this link, it takes you to official Microsoft website where you can create your Azure account. So on here um, you have pay as you go, and you also have try Azure for free, which is free trial. Yeah, in our case, we are going to try Azure for free. Once you click on this, it's going to ask you to provide your email address. So once you provide your email address, if you don't have one, you need to set one up. So it takes you to the next page, which is just asking some few questions for you to create Azure account. Then your country, your name, fill up your details, and then you just follow through. Click on next, provide your bank details. Microsoft is not going to charge you because on your free account, uh, you have 30 days trial to use this free account, and you have 200 US dollars preloaded into your Azure account. So any service that you provision that required payment basically will be deducted from this $200 credit. There are so many free services within Azure. So fill your details in, go to next, and then enter your bank details. So this is how you registered and create your free Microsoft Azure account. Now, let's get started with the new Azure account that you just created. In order for you to access your account, you go to portal.azure.com. So that will take you to your Azure account. So we just wait for this to load up. So we are here now. So basic introduction to the Azure home screen. So up here we have our menu. If you click on this, that is going to show you all the Azure services that we have here. So this is you have create resource, home dashboard, and so and so up here we have Azure services. And the reason why we are seeing this is these are some of the recent services that I have accessed or used in Azure. And down here, we have recent Azure services. In your case, you might not see anything here, so don't be frightened. So nothing is wrong. It's just that you haven't been using any of the Azure services. So this for you might be blank. So let's get started. So in this Azure homepage, any resource that we want to create, we can actually search here on global search. For example, I'm looking for storage account. So I can search here, look for storage account, and so to start with, we are going to create a resource group. So here we have resource group. If you can't see it here, the reason why this is visible here is because I used this recently. I created another resource group recently. So if you can't see it here, you can use a global search to search for resource group. So just come to global search here and type resource group, and you can see here we have resource group here. Yeah, I am going to click on this resource group to create a resource group. So these are some of the resource group I have before. So, but for this demonstration, we are going to create a new resource group. So we start from scratch with all our services. So to create a resource group, so you go to create. So we create our resource here, and so when creating Azure resource group, we have a subscription. And when we created our Azure accounts, we created a subscription. So the name of the subscription. So if you have more than one subscription, so if you click on the drop down here, so you'll be able to see the subscription. So, but yeah, I doubt you have more than one. But for in a business place, majority of the time, many businesses have different subscription for different purpose. And the next thing that we have here is the resource group name. So we need to provide a resource group name. And the third thing we have here is the region. So like I said before, when you created your account, you created your subscription. But with the resource group name, we need to provide that. So basically what a resource group is more or less like a folder that we use to organize our workload. Yeah, creating a folder so that all the services that relate to that specific subject area will be stored in that folder uh, so that it's easy to manage. And for region, the reason why this is important is because choosing a data center that is closer to your region, it reduces latency, which is delay, and also it also increase faster response time and improve performance because it's closer to you. So, and because of the proximity, so to you, is advisable or it's recommended that you choose a region that is closer to you. So when naming a resource group, in most companies or most businesses, you have naming convention that you need to follow, which is their defined way of doing things. So in our case, we're just going to use RG. RG stands for resource group. RG, let's say underscore Databricks underscore training. And I am based in the western region of UK. So yeah, in my region, I'll select UK West and go to next. Tagging is important because it just helps you to manage your resource group better. So the next, go to next, click next, and then create, or if you don't want to follow each step to see, what we have in each of the steps, you can just do review and create. So, and we create our resource group. So here we have created our resource group. So our resource group is RG Databricks training. So let me refresh this. So as you can see here, you can see the resource group we just created, RG Databricks training. Yeah, so we have our resource group created. So the next thing we need to do is to go into the resource group and start creating the services that we want or we need. So to start creating resources and services, we can just click on create here to start creating our resources. So I would click on create, and then I can search for Azure service that I want to create, that I want to provision. So in our case, we're looking at Databricks. Yeah. So just be mindful because this is a marketplace. So other third-party provider have their services here. Make sure that you are provisioning Microsoft service. So here, in the middle here, so we have our Databricks here, and this belongs to Microsoft. So Microsoft Azure service. So that is the one that we are going to be provisioning. Yeah. So then let's click on create Azure Databricks. So we create it. So the first thing we come across here again is our subscription. So we have our subscription here and we have the resource group here. So because I was already inside the resource group before, I clicked on create button, so that is why we have the resource group already listed here. So but if you are in the wrong resource group, what you can do is you can click on the drop down here and select the resource group that you want this Azure Databricks to be in. So it's a best practice to create the resource group first before you actually go into creating the different services that you want. But in a case whereby you've not created any resource group and you've created the service, you want to start creating the service and just go straight to the point. So you can basically create a resource group here. So if you, as you can see here under here, so you have the ability to create a resource group on the fly whilst you're creating your service in Azure. So the next thing here is the workspace name. So this will be the name of your Databricks. So the workspace name. And the next one is the region. And like I said before, it's usually advisable to keep uh, to provision your service in the data center closer to you, based in your region. So the next one we have here is uh, pricing tier. So that is manage resource group names. So when provisioning and creating Databricks, we have premium and standard. So we have premium trial, which is free for 14 days for you to try. So basically we have premium and standard. So the difference between premium and standard workspace is that in premium Databricks, we have, bring it here, so advanced security and data governance. So this advanced security and data governance include role-based access control, which is RBAC. And what this is basically is a security method that grants or deny user access to resources based on their predefined role within the organization. So rather than managing permission for each individual user. So another thing that we have with premium tier is auditing. We are able to provide access to details audit logs. So to track users' action and workspace activities. Another thing that I think is key or important to know in premium tier Databricks is data governance. With data governance, so it supports Unity Catalog for centralized metadata management and lineage tracking. So basically, in Databricks, you can have different workspace. Say you are involved in multiple projects, finance project, HR project, and you want to keep the data and everything separate. You can create two different workspaces, and then from those workspaces, if your Azure Databricks is premium, it will be Unity Catalog enabled. As a result of that, you're able to manage all the metadata relating to all the different workspaces you have, the security, access control. So you're able to manage that within Unity Catalog in a mentor store. So, but in a case whereby you're using standard Databricks, you Unity Catalog will not be enabled. As a result of that, if you have 20 different workspaces, you have to go into each of these different workspaces to be able to manage each of these different workspaces. So there is no centralized place to manage the workspace. So another thing that I feel that is important to note for you to know in Databricks Premium Workspace is credential pass-through. So with credential pass-through, so you are able to access your data lake from Databricks. If the same user that log into Databricks, that same user have the right to access data in data lake. So basically you wouldn't need to provision any extra security configuration or go through any of that. So as long as you have access, you're able to access Databricks, and then you have access to data lake storage. So you are able to authenticate from Databricks. So that is what credential pass through. So those are some of the few things I will go through on the premium versus standard pricing tier in Databricks. So the next thing here is manage resource name. So what this is You know, earlier I did say that our cluster with all the different computer that will join together and everything wouldn't have to manage that manually ourselves. So Databricks manage it for us. So this manage resource group name, this is where Databricks actually store all the services like VNets, like the connector, everything within manage. So Databricks will create a resource group and then store everything in there. So because it is managed by Databricks. So let's go ahead and create this workspace Databricks training. So on here we can see like a little tick sign here. So that means that this workspace name is available. So as a result of that, we are able to use it. So another thing that I spoke about earlier is the region. So our region here, I've selected UK West because I am in the west of England. If you're in other location, just select the data center that is closer to you. Um, so you can just click on the drop down here to select which region that you have the data center that is closer to you. And in our case, we are going to be selecting Azure Premium because with Azure Premium, a lot of other things that I'm going to go through later in this training, not this day two, maybe day three or day four, because it's a series that I'm going to be uh, bringing out. So other sessions, I'm going to talk about enabling Unity Catalog and all the rest. So with standard, we are not able to do that. So, but with premium, we are able to do that. So I actually have Azure subscriptions that I'm paying for. So, but because you just set up a new account, so you have 30 days free trial and you have $200 uh, preloaded into your account that you can use. So the last one here is the managed resource group that I spoke about earlier. This managed resource group, we have the option to just leave it blank. Databricks just give it a random name, or we can name it, give it a name. Let's just give it a name and for best practice so that we're in control of all our stuff. So I'll just name this master data. So the next thing is I can go to networking or I can just click review and create. So for in our case, let's just go to networking. Let's see what we have there. So click networking. So in this networking, we have uh, deploy Azure Databricks workspace with secure cluster connectivity, no public IP. So that is when you have private endpoint, endpoint. So basically, in our case, we are going to say no to no public IP. I click no. So the next one here we have on the network connection. So we have deploy Azure Databricks in your own virtual network, so VNet. So we don't want to configure VNet and then deploy that. So, but for real life, for organizations, they actually use um, secure cluster connectivity, which is no public IP, so that your data cannot just be accessed by a public IP address. So any IP that need to access that data will need to be whitelisted for them to be able to gain access to the data. So just for security, because we are in a world whereby we need to be cautious and protect things that are valuable to us. So the next one is virtual networks. So in the real world, companies use virtual network because it's more secure, it provide more security. But because this is just demo, we just go ahead with it. So the next thing here is we go to next. Let's just follow it through encryption. I don't want to encrypt any of this, so you can use your own key to do encryption. So you need to go through some extra configuration, but we don't need any encryption. So security and compliance, which is the next one. So I'm happy with everything here. So I don't want to enable compliance security profile. I don't want to enable security monitoring. I don't want to enable automatic cluster updates. So tags. Like I said before, tags, you can create tags. Um, so it just helps you manage everything better. So I'm just gonna leave that blank. So you have the option to create a tag. So and then the next thing is review and create and validation succeed. Validation succeeded, which is what we have here. So we are going to go ahead and create our Databricks. So hit on create. We wait for Databricks to create this for us. So Databricks is now created, and as we can see here, your deployment is complete. So what we need to do now is to go to resource. So let's click on that button and then go to the resource. Now we are here, and as you can see here, we have Databricks icon and then we have launch our workspace. Click the launch workspace. This will take us to Databricks, introducing Databricks 1. So let's just cancel that. And this is Databricks homepage. So I'm going to go into this in a little bit, but first we need to provision and create our data lake. So to create data lake, the first time I said we go into resource group, and from our resource group is RG Databricks training, and once I go in there, then I can create here on the top, um, create here, which is create button, and then from here I'm able to uh, create the resources or add resources to here. In my resource group I have Databricks, which is workspace Databricks training. So if I go to create, because I'm already in the resource group, so then I'm able to search storage here, storage account. So based on this storage account, so I'm able to create, and then it goes into the resource group. So if I do create storage account, so as you can see here, so I already have the resource group here. So but I'm going to come out from here just to show you another way of doing that. So go to home page, and on here I can just search for storage account. So because I already have it here, I'll click on it. But yeah, but for this training, so I'll just storage account. Yeah. So storage account, and then I can, so I have all the other storage account that I have created before, but yeah, I'm creating a new storage account. So all I need to do is click on this create button. So mind you, I am currently not in any workspace. I just did global search storage account. So create storage account from here. So do create. So once I create, because I wasn't in any resource group, So it randomly just assign a resource group, Databricks RG DB training. This is one of my old resource group that I created. So, but this is not the resource group where we want to uh, create or install or provision this storage account. So what we need to do is click on the drop down and then look for the resource group where you want to uh, uh, create this storage account. So in our case, we are choosing RG Databricks training. So that is the resource group that we created. So now the next thing to do is to enter storage account name. Yeah, storage account. And also, like I said before, the region is also important. And the next thing here is the preferred storage type. So with the preferred storage type, we have uh, a blob storage and file and order. So, and also we have a performance standard or premium. So we're going to go for standard in our case. And the last one here is the redundancy. So we have GRS, which is geo redundant storage. But in our case, we are going to go for LRS. So LRS is the cheapest option. So locally redundant storage. So that is the cheapest tier we have. So we're going to select LRS in our case. Back to the storage account name. So we are going to call it SA, which is storage account Databricks training. So basically, as I did SA, which is storage account Databricks training. So you can see here, I see the storage account name is already taken, which is, so your storage account needs to be unique. Without that, you won't be able to create the storage account. So I'm just going to add one in front of this, and then so that storage account name is available. And because I'm in the west of UK, the closest data center to me will be in the west, so I'll choose the western region. And storage type, so I'm just gonna leave this blank, the storage type. So the performance, I'll leave it as standard. The redundancy, I will choose locally redundant because that's the cheapest option. So the next thing I will do is to click on the next button, so which is this next here. Next. So we have REST API, that's tape. We're just going to leave all of these the way they are, so we are not changing all of that. So those are default settings. So but one thing that I need to bring to your attention that is very crucial when you're creating your storage account is this enable hierarchical namespace. You need to tick it. So basically, if this is not enabled, if hierarchical namespace is not enabled, everything will just be saved inside the same folder. But if it's enabled, you're able to store your data in hierarchy. So you're able to create a subfolder. So let's say we want to start saving data. Let's say we are receiving data from the business. In the top level, we have year. The business requirement is to create a monthly folder so that you can store the data. So you have a year folder. So if you go into your year folder, all the months are going to be inside the year. So you're able to see all the data. But if you want to see a data for each month, so you're going to have something like another folder like this. January, Jan, this is Feb, and this is March. So basically, it enables you to be able to store your data in hierarchy. So you have hierarchy of data. Let's even say you have different departments within the business. So you have your container. So your container is ABC organization. So inside the organization, you have your HR data, you have your finance data, you have your product data. Best practice, you wouldn't be storing all this data in just inside one folder. So inside that your data lake, you're going to create a different container, and each of these container, you're going to have one container for let's say the finance team, and you're going to have another container. You're going to have one container for the finance team. You're going to have another container for the HR team. You're going to have another container for the product team. So, but your storage, in your storage, you're going to have one storage, but inside the storage, you're able to create a subfolder. So that is what enabling this hierarchical namespace enables you to accomplish. So basically, once you've ticked this, you can review and create. But in our case, we just go to the next networking. We are going to leave everything as it is. So we have public IP enabled. So if you don't want public IP, if it's for like a real workplace, you need to disable this so that every IP that you want it to access your data lake, you need to whitelist it. So that any IP, people don't just access your data from anywhere without your permission. Public network access, so enabled because this is for training. And go to the next. Data protection, we are just going to leave this the way it is, the default settings. So encryption, Microsoft managed key, so we're going with that. Blob and file only, so we're going with that. And tagging, the same thing, so we can create tagging here, so to help us to better manage the resource. Then we go to next, create. So let's create our data lake. So this is currently deploying, creating it. So our data lake storage is now fully deployed. So we can see here your deployment is complete. And to proceed, we go to resource, which is what we did with our Databricks as well. So let's click on go to resource. So this will take us to the resource. So this is an overview page of our data lake. We have many things here, so activity log, access control, and all the rest. So, but what we are actually particular about, or what we should be concerning ourselves about, is this data storage. So we have container, we have file, we have queue. Queue is basically for messaging, to store message, and we have table. So in this container, so we're going to click on container. So in our container, so we are going to add a new container, create a new container. So let's just create a new container. So let's call it data source and create. So yeah, we have our container created here. So we've created our container, data source container. If I click into this container, you see that we don't have any file here, any data in here. So what we are going to do is I am going to head into my SQL. I'm going to go to my adventure work 2012. I'm just going to get some sample data here. So for, and store that in CSV file. Yeah, here I've written some SQL query to extract some data. I need customer data, customer ID, first name, last name, customer account number, the territory code, and the last date modified. So I'm just getting the 20 record. Let me just do 20 instead of 50. Then I'm getting this data out and copying with header. So I'm just gonna do Excel. So yeah, I'm gonna save this file as a CSV file. Browse. Where's my training learning? So Databricks, sample customer data. So and here I'm going to select CSV, which is command separated value, command delimited. So CSV stands for command separated value. So I'm saving it here, and then I am going to go to my data lake and go to my data source. Click on this and upload data. Click on upload so I can browse Databricks and then upload this file. Then click on upload button and that will upload the sample data, as you can see here. So that sample data, now I now have it in my data lake. So to see this data, if I click on this and go to edit here, so we are able to see the data. So because this is command separated value data CSV, that's why. If you want to see it in a tabular format, if you just click on preview, so that's presented. We have customer ID, first name, last name, account number, territories, territory code, and last date modified. So we have this data in our data lake now. And that we've completed the setting up of the services that we need in Azure. So let's go into our Databricks. So to go into the Databricks that we just created, that we provision, you go into resource group. Go to the resource group you just created. In our case, we created RG resource group Databricks training. And inside RG Databricks training, we have data lake, storage account, and we have Databricks training. So I'll click on the Databricks training. Click on the launch button here. So to launch our Databricks. So currently our Databricks is loading. Yeah. So we are in our Databricks page. So basically this is our Databricks homepage. We just go over some few things. If we look at this left hand pan, this is everything basically we need to actually, not everything, but most things that we need to actually work on Databricks. So let's go through this one by one. So we have our workspace here. So basically in Databricks, we can have multiple workspaces. What a workspace is basically a folder that enables or help us to organize our workload. Like I said earlier, so you can have like be working on different projects and you just want to separate it. Let's say finance project and HR project, and you just want to separate it. So if I click on workspace, so basically to create our workspace, we click on workspace here and then workspace, and then we go to inside our workspace. We can see repo, shared user. So we can right click here and create folder, or we can come here and create folder. So let's call this Databricks training. Databricks training. Create. So as you can see here, we have our workspace, our Databricks training. So the next thing we have on the list is recent. So under recent here, because I have not been, this is a brand new Databricks that I just set up. So there's currently nothing here. So because there's nothing on recent. So the next one is catalog. Yeah. So under catalog, that's where you have all the metadata under catalog. So the metadata like the schema, the schema definition, and everything basically, all the metadata relating to your data. So they will be held in catalog. So the next one is pipelines. In this jobs and pipeline, so this is where you set up your job, orchestrate the job for the job to run. So say you have different code that you've written and you want to run all these different codes and set the sequence at which the code runs. So you can create a job here and pipeline and then set it up to run. So the next one, which is one of the most important thing here, is the compute. So this compute initially during in my first video, as well as when we started this video at the beginning of this video, I spoke about cluster. So cluster is the engine that enables you to do your data work, data transformation, extraction, transformation, and load. So everything you do here, so you need a cluster. So to set up the cluster, so this is under compute. That's where you create a compute and set up the cluster. So the next one is marketplace. With marketplace, you have different third parties services that you have in Databricks that you can integrate with your Databricks and be able to use it. So some of it is, for example, is Power BI and Tableau, and there are so many other tools as well. So the next one here is SQL editor. So this is where you are able to use SQL, write SQL code and query, and this is where your query are stored, and we have dashboards and query history and data warehouse. Here you have data engineering, so to run job and data ingestion, and the last part here is AI and ML, machine learning. So this is where you do all your create model and train your model and all of that. So yeah, which is the area data science scientists do their stuff. So let's get started with creating our cluster. So to create the cluster, we go to compute menu here, and just a few things to go through here. The first thing we have here on the top is all-purpose compute. This all-purpose compute can be used for running a job, can be used for development work, can be used for, say, for example, you schedule a pipeline, so you can use this all-purpose compute to run the job. So the next one we have is job compute. So with job compute, this is only for running a job. So once you have your job set up, so this job compute is purpose is only just to run jobs. So we have SQL warehouse and pool and policy. And then to create the cluster, you go to create. You go to create button here. So as you can see here, so with this, we are able to create our cluster. So let's get started and create our cluster. So click on create. So setting up our cluster, the things we need is the compute name. Just give it a name, and then the policy. So on the policy, we have personal, we have power user and compute, and we have unrestricted. So depending on the option you select here, so the configuration below will be different, but we just leave it as unrestricted. And for those for data science people and that want to do machine learning, so you can click on this, so that will provision a cluster that is optimized for machine learning. So here, Databricks runtime, we're just going to leave this on the default. So we have different Databricks runtime. And the photon acceleration, if I clicked on this, so you see that it just gives a little information saying photon acceleration modern aperture spark workload reduced your total cost per workload. So it just enable your Databricks to run more efficiently and reduce cost for you. So if you take this, so we don't really need this because we are not using it for any massive development work. So this is just training account. And the next thing we have here is the node type. So we have different node type, and I'm just going to go for the default node type and the memory core. So I'm going to go for 4 core 16 GB memory, and I can select a single node here, or I can have a multi nodes, but for this because this is a training account, so we don't need multiple nodes, so single node will be enough for us to do the things that we want to do, or run the code we want to run. And here we have terminate after 120 minutes, so we can set this to uh, 10 minutes. Oh, did I just hit create? So I think it's creating it for me. So I was going to set this to 10 minutes, and that was basically it. So nothing much. So basically what this terminates after 120 minutes is when you're not running any job and your cluster is idle for 120 minutes, which is 2 hours, it gets terminated. So I was gonna set this to 10 minutes so that if my cluster is idle for 10 minutes, that gets terminated. So you can see my cluster is now set up. We have now come to the end of today's training session. If you find this video interesting, don't forget to engage with the video, comment, like, as this will encourage me to keep bringing you more interesting training videos like this. And also don't forget to subscribe. And thanks for watching.